Bojan Bogdanovic has been linked to the Knicks for the last few weeks for one clear reason. He offers size at a position of need, and he also can create his own shot, and he is a lethal three-point shooter. All things that the New York Knicks need. He also happens to play for the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are one of the worst teams in the entire league. For all of these reasons, that's why he's been linked to the Knicks, because he could become available at the trade deadline, and the Knicks could potentially swing a deal for him. The problem is, each and every time we've seen a Bogdanovic trade come up and we've looked at the potential deal, it just hasn't worked for one reason or another. The trade has not made sense. Until now. Thanks to The Athletic, we now have the perfect trade proposal for the Knicks to offer the Pistons to get Bojan Bogdanovic on the New York Knicks. We're going to break down this and so much more today. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. We finally have the perfect Bojan Bogdanovic trade package. Thank you to The Athletic for finally giving us a trade package for Bojan that makes sense. For weeks, we've been covering the Bojan Bogdanovic story, potentially him being traded to the Knicks. But each and every trade package that we reviewed just didn't make sense because it included Evan Fournier, but it also included the Knicks giving up their own first-round picks or giving up multiple first-round picks or multiple young players in a deal to get him on the squad. And for me, that just doesn't make sense. Of course, you want to add more talent to the roster that can help the Knicks get to the next level, but you don't want to do it to spite yourself. And all of those deals was basically doing that to the Knicks. But thanks to The Athletic, they just gave us a proposal that, in my opinion, makes the most sense for both parties. The following trade proposal is given to us by The Athletic. In this particular trade proposal, the New York Knicks would receive Bojan Bogdanovic, and the Pistons would receive their 2024 first-round pick back. The Knicks would be giving them their pick back, and Evan Fournier. If the Knicks were able to swing this deal, it would be an absolute steal for the Knicks because in this case, they would get Bojan Bogdanovic, they would fill a position of need, and they would get a lethal three-point shooter. All things that they need right now, and they would get the toxicity of Evan Fournier and his contract off of the roster and make him somebody else's problem. Absolutely a benefit to the Knicks. And I know what you're saying right now. Troy, I thought you said you didn't want to give up any first-round picks to get rid of Evan Fournier. You're right, to an extent though. Did you see the pick that we're giving them? We are giving them their own first-round pick back. Do you guys know what the protections are on that pick? Well, I do, and I have them for you here. Let's take a look at these protections so you understand why I'm fully okay with making this deal. These are the protections. The 2023 first-round pick via Detroit is protected 1 through 18 until 2024, protected 1 through 13 in 2025, protected 1 through 11 in 2026, and protected 1 through 9 in 2027. In my opinion, the Detroit Pistons will be bad well beyond 2027. So those picks will never, ever convey. And if they're never going to convey, why are we holding on to the pick? And if you're asking why the Pistons would do this trade, number one, the Pistons are bad. They don't need to hold on to Bojan Bogdanovic. It would make sense to ship him off to a contender or a potential contender where he can help that squad get to the next step. The Knicks fit the mold right there. Also, Evan Fournier doesn't hurt their books because essentially he's an expiring deal. They could waive him next season and not hurt what they're trying to do at all. And they get their pick back. That is the biggest thing for this entire trade to work. Because they get their pick back, they could potentially use it in other trade scenarios to potentially get another star or really good player on this roster for them. And honestly, if they get another piece to this roster, something that is very crucial, something that they need, maybe a good wing player that's a good 3-and-D player. If they get that type of player and add it to the talent that they have, who's to say the Detroit Pistons cannot become at least a play-in team for the next few years? You never know. But what I do know is the Knicks giving the Pistons back their pick, a pick that I'm arguing again that will likely never convey, is absolutely a win for the Knicks and a win for the Pistons. Win, win, everybody wins. That's exactly why I would do this deal. I've never seen a trade proposal yet that had this on the table. And I think if and when this trade proposal is on the table, the Knicks and the Pistons both have to jump at the opportunity and get a deal done. It helps everyone. And there's rarely a trade out there in the world of the NBA that helps both teams. But hopefully, in the next few weeks, both parties will have this trade available on the table that they can pull the trigger on and get done. An NBA insider also provides an update on Bojan and the Pistons. One thing you have to note as well too, even though the trade makes sense, even though it's a good trade for both parties, and even though the Knicks could use a player like Bojan Bogdanovic, it doesn't mean anything if the Pistons won't want to move him. And from everything that we've been hearing, the Pistons actually like his veteran presence. And thanks to Michael Scotto from Hoops Hype, he reports the following on how the Pistons feel about Bogdanovic. Per Michael Scotto, he states that league sources told Hoops Hype that new coach Monty Williams also loves Bogdanovic. And not only that, according to reports, the Pistons actually passed up on trading Bogdanovic last season for 2 first-round picks from a contender. It's also good to note here again that similar to last season, Bogdanovic is the top trade target for playoff caliber teams that everybody seems to be eyeing right now. 2 first-round picks? Nope, never. If 2 first-round picks is the price to get Bojan Bogdanovic on this Knicks team, I'm out. I'm not doing it. No way. It doesn't make sense at all. I get why his price may have been that high last season, because he was the primary scorer for the Pistons. He was going lights out and showcasing that skill and that ability. So maybe I can understand it. But this season, he's barely played because of the injury. So because of that, you have to take that into consideration. His value should be down. It should not cost a first-round pick or multiple first-round picks unprotected to get this man on any roster. I feel like the Athletics trade proposal that we're looking at right here is a fair deal, and everybody wins if they make that deal happen. I think this is the only trade proposal that the Knicks should entertain. If it's anything more, the Knicks should walk away and look elsewhere to see if they can upgrade their roster in a different way. I would love Bogdanovic on this roster. I think he does fit a position of need, and he does help this team. He helps this team with shooting. He's a lethal shooter. Defenses are going to have to go to him, going to have to collapse on him, which is going to help open up the paint for all of your drivers in Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle. It's a win for everybody, like I said before. But if the Pistons are looking for 2 first-round picks in order to trade Bojan to another team, the Knicks and likely other teams are going to be out. There is no way he is going to be worth 2 first-round picks, especially during this season where he's been limited in play due to an injury. It would not make sense at all. Hopefully, the Pistons and the Knicks do the right thing in my opinion being this trade offer. And if that can happen, everybody wins. I want that to happen. Hopefully that's the case. But if the Pistons are looking for 2 first-round picks or multiple first-round picks and young players, I hope the New York Knicks would be out on that. And if I know Leon Rose and how risk-averse he is, I think I can actually count on him to, if he sees an offer of multiple first-round picks on the table, to hang up the phone, laugh, and continue monitoring the situation going on in Philadelphia with Joel Embiid. And likely also monitoring other situations for other stars and what's going on with them. Because you gotta believe Leon Rose and company are doing their homework and their due diligence and biding their time, waiting for a star that they want to become available so they can throw their entire war chest of assets at that player to try to get them on the roster. Leon Rose has been patient. Some people believe too patient. I believe way too patient. Hopefully it pays off, because if it doesn't, it could be Leon Rose's job. We'll see what happens. But what about you guys? What do you think about this entire situation? What do you think about this particular trade proposal? Would you do it if it was on the table and offered to the Knicks? In my opinion, I would. Do you agree with me? let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.